I'm going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and get started. But tonight I wanted to just kind of talk about like what you're allowing in your business. I got to talking to Harriet a little bit this morning. Good Lord. Harriet and Kelly a little bit this morning, and just kind of like touching base on like, what do we think the team needs? What do we think that we're feeling in the team chat and that sort of thing? Where do we see the growth going? All that kind of stuff. And we kind of got stuck a little bit in the people feeling like the IPAs are overwhelming. And I know that we've talked about overwhelm. We've talked about emotions in our business a lot lately. And one thing it's probably pretty clear, but I've become very obsessed with Kristen Boss. And I think I've listened to almost every single episode, and I've signed up for 2 of her trainings now. And yeah, like all of that. But I love that she hits on that from the very beginning. She's like, it's not your circumstances that create your result, which we've talked about before, right? It's not your circumstances. That's the first thing that creates the thought. And then the thought creates the feeling, and then the feeling creates the action, and the action creates the result in your business. And so a lot of the times we think these things like, I'm just busy, or I don't have time, or life's crazy, or once life slows down. And I want to just kind of like bring that to the forefront and just let you know, you're always going to battle that demon. That is something that you're always going to have to struggle. You're always going to have to, I think I even talked about this like over the weekend on my personal stories, is like, you always have to go to war at the door of your mind every single day. And there's going to be those days where you don't feel like doing it. There's going to be those days where, you know, you're just like, forget this. Like the easy thing is for me to just put it down until tomorrow and just say, you know what, like I'm checking out of social media for the day. But I want you to have the emotional intelligence to recognize like when you're acting that way because of an emotion that you're avoiding. And by doing that, what you're allowing in your business, and basically you're keeping yourself from your success, right? I'll give you an example. So yesterday was Father's Day. I'm still a little bit triggered by Father's Day. It's something that I thought I was healed over and done with it, but clearly I'm not. But my brain wanted to get off social media all day yesterday. And I was just like, I'm not going to do it. Like it's already Sunday. Like it's perfect. It lines up with my rest day and just taking time to myself. And I had every intention of going on my stories and saying, you know what, you guys, like today's triggering for me and I'm going to take the day off. Right. But yesterday was the last day for someone to join our business for $100 or a customer to come in for $100. That's life-changing for them. Right? Especially for the people who money has been the number one reason that's been holding them back. So what would that say about me if I am holding somebody else back because of my mess, because of my internal struggle? Okay. And I want you to know that your internal struggle that you battle every day is going to look different from the next person, right? But you being able to catch yourself in moments of weakness, in moments of Kristen calls it buffering, you know, like whenever you're trying to load something and it's constantly like doing this whole like buffering thing and you're like, oh my God, is it ever going to get there? Right. Like I was trying to use the interpreter line today at work and it was just constantly going like this. And I'm like, oh my God, like this is taking forever because it's just buffering and buffering and buffering. Like that is what you do in your business when you're procrastinating or you're diving into a third round of self-development, or, you know, you take all the excuses of, you know, the house is loud, or I can't do this, or I can't do that. I can't go live right now because I don't know what to say. I don't have it all together, all of these things. Right. And so I want you to be very aware of what you're allowing in your business, because a lot of the times we end up struggling. And I say it like this because a lot of the times it's unnecessary struggle, unnecessary stuckness, if that's a word. And we put that on ourselves. We're like, I'm stuck. It's a slow season. Like I'm just a slow grower. It just takes me longer than other people. Like I've been the first one to say all of those things, right? I'm just stuck, or I'm still figuring it out. I'm still new here. I'm giving myself grace. And while yes, you are, yes, you are to some extent. Am I calling you out? I'm sorry. If you're giving yourself too much grace, it becomes a negotiation piece. Okay. For you to say, you know what, like, I'm just not there yet. So it's okay if I don't have my opportunity event. It's okay if I'm not leading a Zoom yet. It's okay if I'm not doing a live video this week because like I'm still learning and I'm still processing it. So it's okay. And to some extent it is. To some extent it is, right? But if you then are on the other flip side and you're like, dang it, like my tracker's not where I want it. My paycheck is really discouraging this week. I didn't get my auto ship customer, so I'm not thriving for free in July. Like, do you know what I mean? Like if you are constantly like picking yourself apart from the results that you're creating, then you best be picking yourself apart from the actions that you're not doing in your business because you're avoiding the emotion that's attached to it. Okay. And I know we talked about this a lot recently, but you have to understand is that you're allowing that. You're choosing that. You choose to stay stuck. You choose to sit in overwhelm. You choose to look at your IPA list and say, I don't know what to do. We do know what to do. We do know that we need to add to our network. We do know we need to talk to people, right? We do know we need to post, that we have to be active on this social media, in this social media space. But sometimes we get all wrapped up in what's my purpose, right? Like, what's my niche? Like maybe I need another preset, or if my Instagram was prettier, or, you know, maybe I just need to do reels since reels is hot right now and not produce any other content. You know what I mean? Like we make so many excuses for why we're not doing what we should be doing. And I don't remember, I know Kristen and Harriet, I think did, and Kelly maybe, did you guys do the success, like the summer of success event with Kristen? I think you guys did. I know Kristen did, Harriet did. Okay. So one of the things that Harriet and I were talking about is this morning, we were talking about the success in 60 formula. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically she was making it really clear and concise because people, especially in the summertime, they like to say, you know, I don't have time. I've got family trips or vacation or the kids are out of school, and make all these excuses as why they can't run their business, especially in the summertime, and maybe why business is a little bit slower. But if you consistently default to that mindset of business is slow, I don't have time, then when it comes to harvest season, when you're going to start seeing a lot of other people reap their harvest because they stayed busy, they stayed in the work for the summer, you're going to realize in the fall that you're going to be like, well, I'm going to have to wake my business back up again, right? I'm going to wake my team back up again. I'm going to spark the vision again. But if you constantly stay in this, like, every day I'm doing something to open my doors in my business, every day I'm moving the needle forward in whatever way I can, then you're not going to feel that anxiety when you get to quarter four or when you get to July or whatever it is for you, right? And so she was like, let's condense this down, right? If I had to tell somebody, how do they keep their business alive in 1 hour or less a day? And she said, she broke it down into 4 different segments. So you've got connecting, asking, engaging, and serving. So connecting, this is like adding to your network. This is, let's see, introducing yourself to new followers, that sort of thing, joining groups on Facebook, that sort of thing, connecting through the DM. So that's connecting. And then you've got asking. This is making an offer. And this is where I have failed recently. If I look back at like my first half of 2022, I did a lot of like, here's what I'm doing and here's how it could change your life. But I didn't do a lot of, do you want mentorship from me? If that makes sense. And so for the last probably month, I'd probably give it a good month, I've been stepping into that a little bit more, even in times where maybe I don't feel like I'm ready yet, right? Because I honestly feel like no matter where you get, you're still going to not feel ready. You're still probably, when you walk across that stage and get your 200K sign, you're still going to not feel ready, right? When you finally have 10, 20, 30 people on your Zooms that you're leading, you're still not going to feel ready. You're still going to have moments where you're like, what the heck do I train on? Right? I don't feel qualified. I don't know how to lead them, right? All these stories. Okay. And so you have to prepare yourself now and give yourself the tools to be able to battle that mindset every single day when you go forward in this business. So connecting, asking. So that's been a huge transition for me this last month, is stepping into that mentorship role, And I'm going to give you an example. My notes are all over the place, you guys. I'm so sorry. But when you step into that mentorship role, I think I've said this before, but I want to put a little bit more emphasis on it. It's how are you leading others? And I'm not necessarily talking about your downline. I'm not necessarily talking about your customers. I do want you to provide good customer service. That is the base of our business, right? But when somebody comes to you and maybe they or have cold messaged you, let's say, for example, or maybe it's a sideline sister that is within Lionhearted and she's coming to you with questions. You do not directly benefit off of that, correct? But how can you go through the conversation and mentor them so that not only does it help the other person, but it helps you because you stepped into the mentorship role, right? The coach role. And I'll give you an example. One of our sideline sisters within Lionhearted, she has come to me for a very long time, and I've always taken that coach role with her, no matter if she's even, it doesn't matter that she's not my downline, because I had the positive mindset of, I'm not going to be in lack and scarcity of, I'm not going to waste my time, right? I'm not going to talk to this person because she's not my team, right? I'm not greedy about it. I always have had the positive mindset with her of, how can this grow me? What can this teach me? How would I respond to this if this was my team member asking me these questions, right? And it in return has given me that back. And she came up to me the other day and she said, I have a customer who she's been saying she's tired, all these things. And I offered a trial to her because she's talked to me about trials before. And she responded back and said something like, I want to do it on my own. I don't want to be dependent on a product. What would you say to her? And I said, and I took the coach role with her again. And I was like, here's what I would say, right? Is that you're not dependent on a product, right? But you're passionate about the product. And the reason why you continue to take the product and share about the product is because you're passionate about the product. And flip that so that she can see her mindset behind, I don't want to be stuck on a system or stuck dependent on something. Her mindset is, I don't want to try anything new. And it's keeping her stuck, right? And so I said, step into that role with her and be that coach for her and say, listen, I understand what you're saying. We're not dependent on our product. We're just very passionate about our product. And I am here with an open hand anytime you decide you want to try it. But with you saying, I'm exhausted, I'm doing all the things, like I can't even stay awake with my kids or whatever, and you don't want to even try something different, that's keeping yourself stuck. Right? Do you see what I mean? And she came back to me and she was like, oh my God. She was like, light bulb. Like, this is the piece that I've been missing, is stepping into that next level leadership. Like we say all the time, it's always been so confusing, right? When you hear that, step into her, become that next version of her. But when you break it down like that, like, how can I guide someone? How can I coach someone? Even when I don't have all the answers, even when I'm not exactly sure how to respond all the time, but you're taking it as a learning lesson. And even if you don't get the response from that person that you hoped for, wished for, or whatever the result may be, whether she takes it and it's an aha moment, or she's like, okay, thanks, bye. And you get no like confirmation that you've helped, right? In return, that means nothing on you as a leader. Does that make sense? Like, I did not, no matter what she could have said, I don't know if I want to say that to her, but thanks. Like, I still would have been like, okay, cool. Like, I still got me, right? I still got my back. And I still know my worth. And I still offered a coaching hand to somebody else. And it grew me in the process. And so
Amber,
yeah.
I just wanted to touch on that real quick because you had said earlier about dealing with our emotions and stuff like that. And we absolutely have to. We cannot move forward with our business. We cannot lead others if we're still in that avoidance section. And I was the avoidance queen. Like that was my whole depression. Like, I used video games, I used binge eating to avoid dealing with my emotions. So of course I stayed exactly where I was in that mindset. But there is another leader who comes to me every once in a while. She's from another team. She tells me she's not being mentored. Her leader doesn't really talk with her very much or anything like that. And so like, she like texts me, not just stuff about the business, but personal stuff. And before I even answer her, I have to check myself.
Yeah.
I have to check myself before I can answer her, and whether it's about the business or something personal, because if she's coming to me for advice or for friendship or for comfort or for something, whatever it is that she needs, I have to check myself before I can even answer her, because I have to make sure I'm not in a place where, well, I'm not moving up, I'm not really a leader, I'm not a rank, I'm not this, I didn't get a bonus, I didn't, sign anybody this month, I didn't get my, if I'm in that mindset, I can't help her with nothing she's going through. So you have to check yourself before you can um and deal with why are you sitting there, because there's a reason why you're sitting there. And it's not just a surface level thing. There's a reason you're still staying there. And a lot of that, it could be fear that's keeping you in this place, because maybe you're scared of not failing, but maybe you're scared of succeeding, And I thought about that the other day, and you have to get excited for what you have in front of you, and deal with what that is, whether it's a fear of failing or whether it's a fear of succeeding, but deal with that, because other leaders are going to come to you. Other leaders come to you all the time, even if it's in a public chat. And I know a lot of times I do the same thing. Somebody will ask a question in one of our chats, and I'll think to myself, somebody else will answer it. Why don't you answer it? You know the answer. You know the answer, but you're holding yourself back. And that little reason why you're holding yourself back, you need to deal with that. You need to fly, because you're beautiful. I don't know. But yeah, you have to deal with whatever you think that is that's holding you back or whatever, because I better than anybody know what it is to avoid dealing with that. So I stayed where I was, and I don't ever want to go back there again. So I don't care if I'm afraid of failing. I don't care if I'm afraid of succeeding. I have to deal with that fear.
Absolutely. And I encourage you guys stepping into that role. I also want to just say that I don't ever want you guys to be afraid to set boundaries where you need them as well, because people can abuse that and people can overstep their boundary if you never set a boundary in place. And so help in whatever way feels good to you and whatever way is growing you, and you're able to help somebody else. But at the same time, like if somebody's constantly coming to you with the same problem, they're not looking for an answer, they're looking to vent. And you can't be somebody's doormat. And so just kind of keep that in the back of your mind too. Let's see, what did I put on here? I put what triggers you, what knocks you off your game. Do you guys know the answer to those questions? If I were to ask you, like, to put in the chat, like, what makes you not show up? Like what keeps you from doing the things that you know you need to do in your business? Like what triggers you to like spin off in like negative emotion? Like maybe it's not earning your credits, maybe it's a low paycheck.
That's it too. One of the things that triggers me, and I hate to be that person because I love watching everybody succeed. But as soon as I go to watch a live that's in the team training or anything like that, and they're like, yes, we want to talk to her. We want to give her a mic because she just got out 100 samples this week. Like, this week? And I shut off the live and I go watch my TV show, and I'm like, that's free. Like, I am so happy for her. Like, I really, in my heart, I am happy for her. But then I'm sitting here like, she's got 100 samples out a week in a week.
Mm-hmm.
That's my trigger.
Mm-hmm.
That's that, and I hate to admit that. Like that's my fault right there, that I hate to admit that, but that is my trigger.
So just know that it's normal to have triggers. Okay. I'll tell you, money triggers me for some reason. And for somebody who's not even chasing the money, but I will tell you, like, especially ever since Sean had knee surgery, like we have been the most financially crunched we've been in like 4 years. And it brings a lot of stress. And when I see low paychecks that I know that I'm capable, because I've seen so much higher, right? I've seen our tracker look so much higher, rank loss, sitting in that, right? For God, has it been 8 months, I think. And that triggers me, right? So that triggers me into, well, maybe I'm not good enough, right? Or maybe I'm not giving my team what they need as a leader, or, all these thoughts. So recognize what triggers you. Okay. And I want you to pay very close attention to it. And I want you to pay attention to the actions you take because you're triggered. And that is where I think it's Tony Robbins, like he talks about the power of, what's the word? Dang it. Not cycles. That's not the word I'm looking for. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? He talks about the power of, God, that's going to come to me later, but basically like being able to break the cycle, like recognizing the pattern, recognizing patterns, right? So it's like the moments where we've talked about, like, you've got to do A, B, and C, but then you do the laundry and all the things and you procrastinate and you think like, I'm not good enough, right? Like catch yourself, recognize your pattern, and you start to laugh at yourself a little bit. And you're like, here I am avoiding my business again. Here I am, I'm doing the dishes when I told myself I was going to add to my network for 5 minutes. Like it starts to become funny, but then you realize like, I'm catching myself, I'm acknowledging the problem, so that I can then go and fix it and be better because of it, if that makes sense. So recognize what triggers you, what knocks you off your game. Let's see. I put on here, if we allow ourselves to struggle with IPAs or whatever feels hard in your business, because we all have different things that feel hard, right? And because it feels hard, you have this negative emotion attached to it, and then you don't do it. And then you regret not doing it. And then you feel like a failure. And then you create this vicious cycle of like, I've been a brand promoter for X amount of time. Maybe the business model doesn't work. Maybe I need, right? Like all these things. We go into this negative cycle. So I put on here, when you're allowing yourself to struggle with whatever it is that feels hard in your business, then you're just confirming that you're not ready for that success, because you're not ready to tackle that demon. You're not ready to say, you know what, like I am done procrastinating. I am done trying to perfect my work, and I'm going to put out B- work instead, right? Like those are the reels that get the most views. Those are the reels that get the most engagement. It's like when you're just like farting around and you're just having fun in your business versus something that you spent a whole hour on. There's a reason why, because your energy flowed through it. Okay. A confused mind does nothing. And so let's take IPAs, for example. If we're feeling overwhelmed with our IPAs, acknowledge it, write down what feels hard and how you can tackle the demon, right? So if it's adding to your network, is it just that you're not making time to sit down and do it, right? Is it that you feel like you have to add 100 people? Is it that you don't know where to find your people? Is it that you struggle with Instagram because it's a newer platform for you? What is it that feels hard for you? And how can you make that not be your excuse tomorrow? Right. And sometimes it's literally just as simple as writing down what the heck you're going to go do in your business. Because I'll tell you, when my planner is blank and I did not plan, I did not think it through, of course life gets in the way. Of course I'm busy and I'm at work, and then I come home and I'm like, dang it, I haven't put up a post, and then I'm stressed out and I'm overwhelmed and I'm in this space of, I don't know what to post. And then I'm going on Pinterest, right? And I'm typing out inspirational quotes, right? And you're looking for easy street because you avoided the planning in the first place, right? But when it could just be that simple. It could just be as simple as, I didn't write my goal down. I didn't write down my plan for the week. I didn't write down how many trials I actually wanted to send out. And I didn't break that down into bite-sized pieces of, if I want to get 3 trials out this week, how many times realistically should I talk about trials, and in what ways? How can I be different about it? Maybe I could do a reel about it. Maybe then I could do a Facebook Live about it. Maybe I could go face-to-face on my stories about it. And how can I get creative so that I make my goal happen? Okay. That happens a lot when you don't write anything down and you're just like, you get to the end of the week and you're super discouraged and you're like, well, I don't know why I'm not there yet. Well, you didn't even plan for your success. So without planning for your success, you just planned for your failure for the week. And then you're upset at why you feel this way when you didn't tackle your demon in the first place. Does that make sense? Comparison on social media has been triggering me hard lately. It's been triggering me too. It's been triggering me too, especially when people like poaching's been getting to me. And it's making me catch myself in my mindset of like, people see you. And I think it's just because of my timeline in my brain of that I've been here for 4 years. And I see people like our larger leaders who seem to have gone further faster. And then I get poached by somebody and they're like, oh, how's business? Right. And maybe I am sitting in rank loss and maybe I have like just opened up my smallest paycheck in years. Right. Then I'm triggered and I don't know what to respond. So I just don't respond to them. Does that make sense? And so I'm like, this is triggering me. And so I'm not going to respond to this chick, or maybe I'm going to do a reel about her, right? Or whatever, about like the one where I did like, I don't know how to talk to you. I don't know how to talk to you because I literally asked somebody the other day, she was like, oh, I'm doing amazing. Like business is great. I'm top 1% in my company. And I look and she's got like 10 posts and like 200 people following her. I'm like, and then I thought to myself, why, Amber, why do you go to her account when she's saying she's doing all these great things in like 6 months of being in business and it's just amazing and that I would do great in her business? Like, of course, I know I would do great in her business, but I don't want to do her business, right? I want to do my business because I have a passion for why I'm here. I have a passion for these products. I have a passion for leadership. I have a passion for the health and wellness space. So why would I go sell athletic wear? I've tried that. I don't know if you guys know that, but I added Zaya a couple years ago and I hated it. I spent $400 on a pack thinking it would be a great second brand because I was like, I'm in the gym all the time. It makes sense. Health and wellness, it's my niche. It's my thing. I'm going to do it. Right. And I ordered a pack and I was like, Sean, this is the best thing since sliced bread. It's going to just catapult me. And then I realized like, I don't like these clothes. I like one bra. And I have 3 of them, but I don't like the clothes. I never could find anything that fit. And then when I would show up on their Zooms with their leaders, I was like, crickets. And it just confirmed that I'm home. It confirmed the power of the leadership that we have here, the support, the love, the community that we have here. And I looked at that in comparison. And I remember talking to the girl that I signed up with, and I was just like, she was like, what did you think of the Zoom? And I'm like, I'm going to shoot it to you straight. I said, I was very underwhelmed. Like I didn't get anything out of that. And I said, let me send you an example. Right. And so I sent her like something from one of our leaders that was on somebody's YouTube. I think it was from M. And she was like, wow, she watched like 25-minute video and she's like, I see exactly what you're talking about. And I'm proud that you're home with Lavelle. And, we need more of that here. And if that's something that you want to build here, great. Like she never pressured me or anything, and it just confirmed for me. Right. But when I get poached now, I'm just like, I don't want to do that. Like you can't shake me. But at the same time, like sometimes I still got to check myself with my mindset. I still got to check myself with that comparison. Right. But it's getting stronger along the way and recognizing what triggers you. Let's see. When you negotiate your business, you negotiate your results. And what I mean by that is making excuses for yourself, making excuses. Kristen, can I just call you out for a second? Like, tell me, because you said you got up early and you got a lot of stuff done. So if you don't mind, unmute yourself. Tell us what the rest of your day felt like. Like, what do you feel like right now compared to other days in your business? I love you.
Huh?
I said, I love you.
No, I mean, I'm glad you called me out because like Kelly and I have talked about this. Having 2 littles, if you don't know, I have Taylor. I finally figured it out. She's 20 months. And then Benson just turned 3. I just kept saying she was 18 months because you have like your 12 month
Yep.
appointment, and then it goes to 18, and that's, and then there's 2. So she's just been 18 months forever. Anywho, she has not been sleeping through the night. So I kept telling Kelly, like, I cannot get up like these ladies. I cannot get up early. I cannot do it. And I kept telling my husband, I'm going to get up. I'm going to get up. I got to do this. Like, the kids are finally sleeping in, but then they still wake up every now and then. And since I'm the one who gets up with them, which I don't, I just hear them, and I'm a light sleeper. So then takes a while for me to go back to sleep. Plus I have, what is it called? Carpal tunnel in my hand. So that keeps me up more than my kids do. But anywho, my son woke up, and it woke me up, and I was like, you know what? It's 5:30. Let's just try to get up. Okay. So I got up, and I was like, I don't have to rush to take my capsules in the morning. Cause usually I'm like trying to hurry up and brush my teeth before one starts screaming. My son likes to kick our walls and everything. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna try to get everything done. I will not lie. I have not made a post, and posts are my weakness. I'm like that person who's like, ooh, I'm gonna post this and I want to post this. And then once I'm like, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And then it never gets done.
Mhm.
Hello, Queen here. Queen. And I have so many thoughts, but then it's like, I also have, well, this is probably not important to anybody, because I've kind of come and go. I am the queen of not being consistent. Hey, hi, hello, that's me. And it's been a struggle, but I was like, I got up, did a video of me taking my vitamins and just having music playing, which, by the way, I got flagged for it. They're like, they told me that it wasn't my music because I just like picked a song to play in the background. And they're like, by the way, 7 countries can't see your stories. And I'm like, 7 countries? I'm like, I don't care. So it let it stay on. But anyways, so I was like, well, I got that done. And I should have read my book, but I was like, I'm going to go drink my lemon water. Thank you, Kelly. And I'm going to go stretch. And then I posted a reel finally. And I haven't posted a reel in a long time. And I'm trying to get back into it because, to be honest, I live in Texas and it's like 105. Sorry for my language. And I'm ready to leave. Like, I literally had a heat stroke the other day sitting in my house because we live in a rental and it's older. It's not insulated. So it gets to like 80 in our house sometimes. And I'm like, oh my God, about to be 33. I'm about to die. So, yeah. So I've been like trying to really get myself motivated to figure out what's going on, what's holding me back, what's my issues.
Mhm.
And I have a lot of them, so that's not the point. But I was like, yes, I can. All I have to worry about is a post and working on my IPAs, which I've struggled with my IPAs, and that's that. But I was like, proud of myself that I got up and I could like just think, just being able to think. Because I wake up, I hear my kids, I run in here, I go pee, TMI, I brush my teeth, I go get their bottles warmed up. Don't even want to hear that. And I try to hurry up and take like a boomerang or something with my capsies. And then I literally save it just in case it disappears while it's just hanging out on my Facebook or my Instagram for a minute. And then I get them up, and that's changing diapers and getting them going. And then we're all still on the couch, and it's just like me trying to do everything one-handed, and I'm not even being a present mom. So like today, my son woke up after I got all my stuff done. I was like, I just get to cuddle with you. I don't have to pay attention to making my stinking post of my products, because if I don't do it right then and there, then I probably wouldn't do it. And that's how I've done it literally the whole time since I started on day 1. Like, I got up and took them first thing, before my kids would wake up, or sometimes my son's kicking the wall and I have to hurry up and get him out of the bedroom and then take my capsies. Thank God that doesn't happen often, but it was nice just to, and now I'm like, what the hell am I going to post about? That's where I'm at in life.
You're funny. I love it though, because it's just as simple as like, I got to think. I got to think. I got to clear my mind. I got to bring peace into my business a little bit, is what I kind of heard you say. Like, I didn't have to rush it. Like, I just got to do me a little bit. And so can you imagine like how that will compound if you decide to continue to do that? Maybe not every single day, but however frequently you want to do it. And you decide like, that's my time. That's me time, right? Because that's something that I had to do as a working mom, and just understand that I had to make that sacrifice for me. And of course, like, there's plenty of mornings where I don't want to get up early. Like, of course, no, I
I
don't.
always wonder that. I'm like, why do y'all get up so early?
I know, but then like, you have to also think like the mindset that you're bringing, or that we all do, I'm not just trying to single you out, but the mindset that we bring into our business when we feel rushed, we say things like, or we think things like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't have time. It's going to have to wait. I'll have to do it later. And then later comes and you're exhausted and your husband's like, put your phone down, and your husband gets home from work and he's like, I just want to spend time with you. Right. And then you have guilt. You have guilt that you didn't get it done earlier when you said you were going to make it happen. And then you have guilt over like, if you tell him, well, I just have to, whatever, like stay up a little bit later. Right. We have all this guilt surrounding the choices that we made, and so think to yourself, like, if you guys currently struggle with that too, like the emotions of fear, doubt, overwhelm, like feeling rushed in your business, like if you could find your pocket of time, and maybe it's not at 5 o'clock in the morning like me and Harriet, okay, but if you can find your pocket of time, how much peace that could bring into your business. How much peace can you bring into your business? Because if you can empower yourself in that way to bring more peace into your business so that it feels lighter, so that it feels more enjoyable, then it becomes sustainable. And I want you to think in the ways that you've been currently running your business every day, in maybe the rushed, overwhelmed arena. What would it feel like to bring somebody in? Right? Because that's a whole nother chapter. If you're bringing somebody else in, and then all of a sudden now they have questions for you. So not only do we have babies that are crying, a husband that wants sexy time, we've got like all these things, right? And then someone's asking you all these questions, and maybe you're working and then you're cooking dinner and you're doing all the laundry and whatever. And you are just like, well, forget it. Like, I don't have time. I can't do everything. I've said that so many times, like, I can't do everything. Right. And you get so frustrated, but really, we're really frustrated with ourselves. We're really frustrated with ourselves because we didn't commit to us, right? Is what it ends up being. And so just kind of have that in the back of your mind. And however you're running your day right now, I don't know what everybody's day looks like, but I can tell you what some of my days have looked like in many, many seasons in my business. And it's been operating from fear, overwhelm, doubt, feeling rushed, feeling like I don't have time, making excuses, all these things, not checking off an IPA list because just the word IPA would overwhelm me, right? Writing it all down would overwhelm me, feeling like I had to create new Canvas slides, new posts, new photos every single day. Like, it would overwhelm me because I do have still a lot on my platter, right? But imagine what it's going to feel like if you plug into either watching a replay or going to the planning Zooms on Sundays, and then you can actually batch out. Like, raise your hand if you've ever batched out your posts and it's like legit. You took that hour on Sunday or whatever, you go for a walk and you batch out your posts and what you want to say, you type it out. And then on a random Tuesday, you're like 15 minutes, like, go. I've done my hair. I've got my makeup on. I'm going to change my outfit 5 times. I'm going to take 5 pictures. Right. And I don't care if they're perfect, but they're going to be 5 pictures. Because if you've ever done that, and if you've ever gotten into the habit of planning your week out, and then you apply the me time to your business, it becomes so much more peaceful. And it's okay if it doesn't happen every single day, but get into the habit of like, how can I bring that peace in? Okay. The last thing I just want to say, here we are again, you guys, 41 minutes. But anyways, I try my best. I try my best to keep it short, but whatever. The last thing I wrote here was leaders set the pace. So you're setting the pace for growth. I put on here, are you being a mentor and are you offering yourself as a coach? And so knowing that you're the pace setter, that anybody you bring in your business, they're going to be operating off of your current systems, meaning if you're overwhelmed, they're going to feel it. If you don't know what you're doing, they're going to feel it. If you don't feel confident in bringing somebody in, can I just also ask, like, what are you guys, like, what are you thinking about the team page so far? If you could put it in the chat or whatever, I don't care. Like, let me know what you guys think. If you've watched any of those videos and if anything pops up or has popped up this week of like other things that we need in there, but I think it's a really, really good start to not being overwhelmed. But however you're operating now, people are going to feel it and they're going to operate the way that you do. Actually, your team's actually probably going to do about 50% of what you do. So would you be okay with that? Would you be growing? Would you be growing? Would your business be growing? Would your tracker be growing? Would your commissions be growing if your team was doing 50% of what you were doing? That is sometimes a hard pill to swallow, especially when we're caught in overwhelm and fear and doubt and insecurity and feeling like we're not enough and hanging on shirt tails of larger leaders and waiting to see how other people run promos before deciding that we're going to just do it our own way, right? Sometimes it's a hard pill to swallow. But you've got to set the pace for your team. Okay. I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. I'm loving it so far too. I have a lot more ideas that I want to put in there, but again, it's one of those things. I think I lost track of like the success in 60 formula, but I'll screenshot these and I'll put them in the team chat. But it's like, how can you be more concise? How can you be more focused in the work that you're doing in your business? Okay. I love you guys and I'll see you later. Have a good night.